To us, Chandra Wilson is a mom with a lot of perspective. But you may know her best as Dr. Miranda Bailey on Grey's Anatomy. What you probably don't know is that she's also a director, and she directed tonight's episode. Take a look.
I am a mother, and what I really need to do is get my kid to preschool, get the laundry done, put food on the table. All right, I can do a big tap dance here about how I'm going to change the face of medicine with $1 million. But you can't do anything with $1 million. $1 million is nothing. That's a dream. This is real life. Preschool, laundry, food. I'm realistic.
Please welcome the very realistic Chandra Wilson.
Hi. Well, hello there. Congratulations on your first week, y'all.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Yeah, I just want to know, because I did an episode of Grey's Anatomy, and that is an intense show to act on. I want to know how you pulled off acting and directing an episode.
I went into a little schizophrenia.
Yeah.
It's really necessary. That's one of the few opportunities that we get playback on the show. So my little playback guy is there, and I talk to myself ahead of time and say, okay, you got 2 takes. You got 2 takes to get it right. So I'll do a take and then go look at the playback, give myself a note, and then...
Like what kind of note?
Like what just do it better.
I love that.
And you know, I try to do those things at the top of the day, and then the rest of the day put on some sweats and just be director.
Yeah. Now, what's more hectic, directing an episode that you're also in, or getting home to 3 kids? You have 2 daughters who, one is 17, one's 12, and a boy who's about to turn 5.
Exactly, and
wow.
I think they weigh about the same.
You're never off, Chandra.
You're never off work. You get off that job and do the other.
How do you balance
It's exactly what every working mom out here has to do. You know, you prioritize your day the best you can. You have your support system in place, knowing that everybody's a human being, and they're not going to do exactly what you would do the way you're going to do it, and you have to release that and just be on time as much as you can for the things that you need to do.
And I always like to know from somebody who's got older kids, because my kids are younger, having the experience, is there anything that you would have changed so far that sticks out, or anything I should know as I bring my kids up?
Have them stay like newborn to 10 months as long as possible. Because the responsibility gets greater and greater. I mean, like 35, I'm truly expecting everybody to come back home, you know, because they need to start their life over again. So.
Okay, Chandra, what kind of mom are you? I heard somewhere, someone told me that you have a 17-year-old that you will not allow to date. Is that true?
No, she can date, but I believe in the chaperoning thing.
Oh, you have to be there.
That's all. I mean, that's not a problem. Is that a problem? I feel like, you know, to be a responsible parent, somebody should be around just in case. You know, I'll keep distance. You know, if we're at the movie theater, they can kind of be over there, and I don't have to be like where I can see.
Right.
And, you know, I'll take like her brother and sister with me, and they'll keep me company. And
I'm sure she's a helicopter parent.
I'm just saying, like, wouldn't you feel better if, like, your son was out with my daughter, and you knew that some adult was around, just making sure everything.
Perhaps.
That's all I'm saying. I mean, you know.
Does she complain about that?
You know, it's really neither here nor there.
Yeah. What do you think about these Glee pictures? I'm really curious to get your take on it.
Because I've been like slowly hearing the story, you know, all morning, and I think the point is really relevant that was made, that they are in character, and that's the only thing that, you know, if you're doing whatever you want to do because you're an actor and you want to, that's one thing, but when you're in character and you're you know, if Dr. Bailey's rolling around and, you know, hanging off the pole, it's not going to be all that cute, you know, because that's not what she's representing. So that's the place where the line gets crossed a little bit. But I mean, again, you know, anybody that's in the video world knows that it's just a takeoff of the Britney Spears video, and you know, we watch that forever and ever. So it's not really so much that it was done or the content, it's about what it represents. So I understand why some moms or parents are up in arms about it.
When you were backstage, did you by any chance hear our discussion about cyberbullies and bullies in general? Because you have kids ranging in age from almost 5 to 17. Were any of your kids ever bullied? And if so, how did you handle that?
I'm sure there's one incident that came home, but even with me, because I was short growing up, I would get teased all the time, and I would have people, tell me all the things that you say as a short person or whatever. Well, she was 11 at the time. My 12-year-old was talking about this one boy in particular in her class that likes to call her name all the time and just get on her nerves like boys do. And I said, the next time he does it in class, you turn around and you look him straight in the eye and you just call him a name because you like me. Wow. And I guarantee you it'll stop. It'll stop right there. He won't want to have anything else to do with her.
And it works.
Oh, absolutely.
I love it.
Absolutely.
Chandra Wilson, we're going to have more with Chandra Wilson. We're going to be right back. Welcome back. We're talking with Grey's Anatomy's Chandra Wilson.
Hey, Chandra, a lot of people know that I have a special needs son. I talk a lot about that. But I didn't realize that you have a daughter, Serena, who has a special condition that I'm not too familiar with. Can you tell us about it?
Yeah, I'd love to talk about it because what you were talking about in the opening segment about being able to share information, this was one of those things that just kind of showed up in our house in the last year, and we felt like we were the only ones because we had never heard of it and had never been going through it. So if this rings a bell with anybody out there, just basically want you to know that you're not by yourself, and there are places you can go, and if your kid is dealing with it, listen to your kid because it's for real. She, all of a sudden, about a year ago, she started going through these cycles of vomiting. And basically what they would do is they presented themselves always the same way. They would show up once a month. She wouldn't be able to eat, drink, or anything, and she would go through this incredible, overwhelming nausea, this nausea that just didn't stop for at least 4 days.
Your 17-year-old, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it was just unrelenting, so much so that the only thing you can do is eat and just think about just going through the wave of nausea. And once it started happening over and over again, we saw that the common thing that kept showing up was her menstrual cycle. So it turns out that her menstrual cycle is a trigger for it. But what the thing is, it's called cyclic vomiting syndrome, CVS. It is a real thing.
How do you treat it?
And there isn't treatment right now because it's kind of in its early stage of being researched. There's written things about it maybe in the past like 12 to 15 years, even though it's probably been around for a long time. But now there's a whole community of folks out there that are slowly but surely finding each other and being able to say, oh my God, that's my kid. My kid's been going through that. I didn't know it was a thing. So on your website, you'll have information about it, and also at Cyclic Vomiting Syndrome Association online.org, CVSA online.org, there's information about it. But basically how you know that it's CVS is there's something consistent about the way the vomiting is showing up, and it is unrelenting. It goes through its own little cycle. When it's over, it's done. You don't see it. There's nothing residual.
Do they outgrow it?
It's on. That's a good question, and I think like the research over time will let us know that. But we've also found out now through this community of people that have shown up on the message board that there are all these adults that have it, that had it when they were kids, but they didn't know what it was.
Wow.
And pediatricians, kept kind of bypassing it or telling kids it's in their heads or they need to just stop stressing out. But it's nothing that the kids are doing. It is something that is happening to them.
So since there's no treatment, how do you guys as a family deal with it?
There's some great management things that are out now. There's wonderful work that's being done specifically at Children's Hospital LA with Dr. Richard Bowles that have to deal with your mitochondria. If your body's not producing energy and breaking down fats the way it needs to, then it can't help you out when you're either ill with a virus, or for girls in particular dealing with their menstrual cycle, and therefore you go into a cycle. The cycle has lots of triggers, but basically you listen to your kid, and if for any chance they start to get dehydrated, then that's when you end up having to go to the hospital so that you can get rehydrated.
Thank you for sharing this.
Yeah, but because I know there's so many folks, we went for months not really understanding what it is, what was going on. You get tested for everything else in the world so you can rule it out, and then that's what you end up with.
So the talk.com will have more information about it.
Absolutely.
I hate to just flip the script completely.
Go ahead.
But you and I have another thing in common. We both have ash phobia. We can't stand to have ashy kids. I've been telling my sister wives on the show about the ash thing.
You do. Like even if we have to go to the hospital, I have to check her legs and check her feet because Thank you. But lotion is your friend, and Vaseline. Don't be scared of Vaseline.
Oh, now I want to.
Your elbows, your feet. You need
and
to
your heels.
deal with it.
I don't mean to get off the serious topic of ashy knees, but I am curious because you said you came from like a.
You don't have
that problem anymore.
You said you came from like a sort of regular upbringing. How did you find the strength to sort of follow your dreams?
Oh, strength. My mom just didn't want me to be idle as a kid, so she got me involved in all of these activities, acting classes, dancing school, and I went to the High School for the Performing and Visual Arts in Houston. But it wasn't until I graduated from college and I had a job off-Broadway, and I had medical insurance, and I had a union card that I said, okay, maybe, you know, I can keep going with this.
It's legitimate.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it can actually be a job, a way of making a living. And people always talk about making it, you know, ooh, you made it when you got to Gray's. But I was of the philosophy that I made it as soon as I had a union card and medical insurance, and I didn't have to call home and help.
That's right. Chandra Wilson, thank you so much. And here's to your mom. Not wanting to be idle. I like that. Up next, pole dancing children. The controversy heats up. Oh, yes, when we come back.